Hi guys, hey everybody, I'm Lawrence, this is Ed, Fausto. We were tasked with coming up with a project to do with utilizing at least two APIs. We had a little trouble at first because there are just so many APIs out there and so many things that we could combine into a usable app. But in the process of trying to come up with something, we all just got really thirsty. And we wanted to find a bar. And while that was easy, there's plenty of places out there where you can do that. A couple of us are a little more discerning about what kind of breweries that we patronize, and particularly beers that we're fans of. From that, we were able to go on Google, find a really interesting brewery API, which returned a lot of really cool information, and I think it was great because right there we all knew that that's what we wanted to do. Right?
Yeah.
So we came up with the idea of Hoplivion. It's our website. We set up, deployed on Heroku. It is, I'll give you a brief demo, which I actually already did accidentally, but once you land on the site, you scroll down to do a search by city. You're able to input a location that you are not currently in. You'll submit it, show listings. It comes up with all the breweries that are local to Brooklyn or identify themselves as in Brooklyn. Coney Island, for example. And it'll come up with the logo, their website, address, their name, of course. And something that was really cool about this API was also international. So you do a search again. We'll do by city, Tokyo. Submit. And we've got Sapporo over here in Chiyoda province. And so it's something that we can use locally. It's something you can use where you are, and something you can use where you will be when you're on a trip, especially if you're a beer enthusiast. So to talk about the actual code itself a little bit, I'll turn it over now to Fausto.
So we decided to use Materialize for the layout, so it will look pretty. If I can find the projects here, it's already here. Okay, so everything, it's inside the container here. We have a here you go, everything here. We have a navigation bar, which is this part here, and we have functionality on it, and it takes you to the contacts, and we can go back to it. Also, we created a carousel with individual bottles that we took off the internet, the pictures, and everything is inside the container, like I said, except for the footer. Because we want the footer to be 100% of the whole page. And we have this, which looks awesome. And that's pretty much it for the layout. And now we'll go to the JavaScript functions, which
Okay, yeah, so obviously we started off by looking at Google Maps API and the Brewery database API and trying to figure out a way of linking them. So the Brewery database API provided latitude and longitude for each of the brewery locations, which obviously was pretty much exactly what Google Maps was requiring. So we used that. Okay, so essentially, when you here's where the search starts. So when you click on the button, it will grab the location where and whether you've chosen a city or a state, and then it will program it into the query URL, and it will pull up the results, which we then sent to Firebase. Just so if you so you searched for something and then you went away and then you came back and you had some search results that you liked, they'd still be there. That's basically why we linked it up to Firebase. And so connecting the latitude and longitude up to Google Maps was a little tricky at some points. For some reason, we had to pass the variable, the latitude and longitude that the database gave us through a pass to make it into a number that a float actually that the computer would understand, and then but essentially, like, generating all the markers was fairly simple. Google pretty good about telling you exactly what to do in terms of generating their map and using their API, and they got video tutorials as well, which are very good. We did something slightly different with our icons to the previous group. We basically, if you look here, we just grabbed a file which we'd made and put it on GitHub. So that was the icon that dropped, and then when you hovered over it, it was a different color. It seemed a little less complicated than dealing with all the points and markers and variables as for the actual marker. So that is essentially it. There was a slight problem with the initialize maps function. There were some functions that Google tell you to put in, which honestly don't seem completely necessary in creating it. And we took some of them out and wrapped some functions in other functions to make it work well. And that's pretty much it for the JavaScript. I think. It's fairly straightforward, actually.
So as for future iterations, we would like to at some point implement a search by beer name or brewery name. Certainly with beer enthusiasts, they're particularly looking for something that they already like, they already know about. That we were limited by the BreweryDB API because their names were not properly notated, I suppose. Yeah. But perhaps in the future we could incorporate a new API or.
There was an issue linking the type of beer to the brewery. For some reason, the brewery database didn't do that. Right. And there were other we tried to look at other APIs which had brewery names on, but some of them weren't running, some of them were just really terrible to use, didn't return JSONs. So there were a few issues there with expanding the site where we wanted to.
And a couple of friends of mine are quite the beer enthusiasts. So one thing that they thought would be really cool would be a route going between breweries, doing a little tour of the local town. Because when you're visiting a place and you're into beer, you want to see the breweries. And so guys, that's Hoplivion. Questions?
How did you guys, well, this is really for you, Fausto, your front end, the carousel graphic that you guys used, how did you manage the opacity falling back and forth?
It's actually automatic. It does it. If you see the index here, the navigation, you just what I did, it was just copy and paste and then I just changed the no, I don't know. I don't even know. Okay, here. So then I just changed the images.
Even if it wasn't copy and paste, you found that graphic with the bottles together?
No, I added the bottle picture from the internet, and I just put the source individually in each spot. Copy of it not. It does it by itself. Like if it's because I didn't do much. So it's Materialize, man. So if we go here, look, it'll hopefully. Oh, don't make me look bad. Come on. Yeah.
And
So
one thing we may not have mentioned is that it is responsive to your current location,
yeah.
geolocation. So if you're on your phone and you're out there looking for a brewery, you go to the website, you allow location data to be sent, it'll automatically know where you are. And then you do an additional search.
Do like a pop-up on your phone? A pop-up allow?
Yes, that's from the Chrome browser. Oh, from whatever browser you're using.
What was the biggest challenge you guys faced?
GitHub.
Just GitHub.
It's a love and hate relationship right now. Every time I pull and then I push, their code will be like disaster. And then when they push and I will pull, my code will be like, it wouldn't work. So we decided not to pull.
We eventually figured out that it was a branch issue. I think it was Fausto who was pulling from a branch and pushing to the main somehow, and there would be some merge conflicts there. But we overcame that. And, as you can see, we're right here.
It's working.
Yeah. Any other questions?
All right. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Oh, feedback.
Yeah, so I thought, one thing is always like you can have somebody else help you out when you guys are talking. Sometimes when you go through the computer, like I wouldn't be able to hear you back here.
Okay.
So somebody can help you out while you're showing stuff out. I really like the icon, the beer icon on your map. It's really cool. Definitely good job. And my only question is, you guys thought about maybe the map like full screen, or why decide to go?
I will answer that. When we did full screen, every time we would scroll down, it will get caught on the map, and then the map will go, it will expand, and it was just a mess. So then we just decided to keep it on the nav. On the container,
Awesome. So I really like your start, Lawrence. I think when you started as a joke, the stories, the why you did it, great name, like that was awesome. The demo was really good. Like one thing I liked is that you showed both a local and an international example, and it was like, oh wow, that's actually something I would not know, right? So that's kind of cool. One suggestion that I have for you is like refresh your page real quick. And then you see how there's that giant space where the map will go? You should just populate it with a map. You could even populate it with a map with markers or no markers, just to fill in the space.
Sure.
And then like tied to that, like right now when you do a search, you have like 2 clicks to get something, you search for the place, and then you hit listings. You should just tie it all into one button effectively. So other than that, carousel's awesome. I like that it's like, I would have thought there would have been an issue with transparency, like the white background, but it looks great. And it just is clean, like you guys were able to get, oh, nice. But yeah, I think it was a really good like team effort.